Lights, camera, action.
In a studio where local filmmakers talk to other filmmakers about the inside world of film.
Cut.
That's not the script. It. We'll fix it in post. Do you wonder how films are produced and what really goes on behind the scenes? Well, stand by. Filmmakers Kevin Mumphrey, Victoria V.A. Jones, and Carson Hype Ferguson explain all the details. Right here on It. We Will Fix It in Post podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Whenever you're listening, I thank you for doing so. And I'm Kevin Mumphrey, and this is It. We'll Fix It in Post. I'm here with my colleagues, Victoria V.A. Jones.
What's going on?
And Carson Hyde Ferguson.
Yes.
Every time.
Yes.
So, the light of the pandemic, let's see, multiple strikes that we've covered. Basically, living is being really expensive. That
overly expensive.
So if it's expensive for us, now imagine how expensive it is to be in California right now.
Oh yeah.
So there are people that are you've heard stories about people leaving California
and coming to Nashville.
Yep, they're definitely coming here, making it more expensive.
Yeah, we full. Okay, I'm just telling y'all right now, we are full. When I say full, we are over capacity. Okay, we don't nothing else, no more.
When I meet people out and they're like, "Oh, I'm from California. You're visiting, right? Just visiting, okay? So you're leaving in a few days." Yeah. Just I heard so much great things about Nashville.
Not that great,
but
not that great.
Overrated. You can go. But you're leaving Monday, right? Great. But also, people who are leaving are people in the film industry. I've seen stories about like writers obviously not making a livable wage. Even after the strikes, things are still slowing down. People they basically production people who are not being able to make a livable wage doing their jobs anymore. So now, people who they're now leaving for other places, like you may have heard recently that 50 Cent now they have a whole production studio in Shreveport, Louisiana. And first of all, what did you think about that?
All right, it's excellent. He should have had one a long time ago. I don't know why he didn't do it a long time ago.
Now, it could have just been him getting all his money in order.
That could be. Or also trying to find the right spot. You know what I'm saying?
Now, because I could be wrong about it, but I thought at one point he was trying to build something in Texas.
I mean, that would make sense. Because, like, you want to go for, like, low cost of living, easy access, amount of land, water. Is a big
amount of spending as possible.
Probably some kind of tax credits or something like that. There's a whole host of things, and honestly, like Shreveport is in that corridor, that 20 corridor. I think it's 20. Yeah, because 40 is a lot higher up. Yeah, the I-20 corridor. So like Shreveport is relatively close distance to Dallas, so you're still like close to Texas.
Close to Texas, you're still in a nice shot of New Orleans. So you get that New Orleans feel, maybe even Mississippi.
I wouldn't say you get to New Orleans feel, not until you get like a lot lower, like Baton Rouge, St. Martinville, and all that stuff. Okay. I mean, because that's right down the street from my grandma's house.
How close is it? It's not close to Florida, though.
No,
I didn't think so. But
flying, everything is relatively close, though. No, I'm not.
Fly?
No, but I'm saying like, okay, 50 Cent is probably gonna fly most of the time. He's not gonna do a road trip.
Oh no, I didn't bring it up as far as
but
like
even
himself. I'm just thinking like a production.
Yeah, but even the Southwest like kind of thing, right? Like a rate straight through to maybe not Shreveport, but Dallas is probably relatively inexpensive, and then you could just drive with the 3-4 hours. I think it's like 3.5 or 4 hours or something like that.
Because if you're doing, let's say, live event or a sporting event or something like that, you're probably putting all those in trucks and just driving it onto the location. And truck drivers, you can drive, I believe, at least 10 hours straight. So anything within a 10-hour window, pretty good. That's why Nashville's a great hub for trucking, because you're within 10 hours of multiple major cities.
I can see that.
So, but I'm diverting kind of from my point. But how do y'all think it? So a lot of people who work in production that would have had to be in LA, would have had to be in California, they're now leaving. One of the spots I saw that is kind of been a popular hub of going to is New Mexico. Obviously Atlanta.
What's in New Mexico?
Yeah, but
There's a whole
there's a lot of stuff like the film
Netflix
scene.
has a production.
Yeah, the film scene in New Mexico, it's very inviting. Tax credits, tax abatements, lots of land, relatively inexpensive, probably to other parts of the country. Like definitely for California. Terminator Salvation was filmed out there. Several films were filmed out there. Because you can make it look like the other side of Mars.
Yeah,
You
you
know?
can.
Yeah, and they've been, because I'm looking into it, and I think New Mexico has been like a building film hub for a few years now. It's just now starting to come, people are starting to really notice it now. Atlanta is probably the big one, but I mean, Atlanta feels almost as big as Los Angeles at this point.
Yeah, it's like the new Hollywood.
Yes.
Probably more people in like proximity to just that county. Like, because like with all the surrounding counties, it's a lot of people in a small area, relative size.
It may feel bigger too, but also, New York is always going to be a spot.
Is it?
I think so.
Is it? I mean, 'cause I don't know if it's as accommodating as it once was. Not to mention like all the other hosts of,
compared to Los Angeles.
Yeah, but all the issues though, like I don't know, it's just gonna be so costly to shoot a film in New York or LA. So like that's got to be a major factor. You're only gonna be like probably a major production, like shooting there, unless you're like real small independent. Because like it just costs too much, and then all the rates get jacked up in those cities.
Yeah. Now I think compared to like LA, New York, I think New York, because people just kind of like the look and aesthetic of New York.
But you can build that though.
And I think AI would be something that kind of does that in the future. They could.
And I wouldn't say that right now, but
Not right now.
like I mean, unless you got to tell like a New York centric story, like I don't see you having to go to New York for a story. And if you want that East Coast kind of feel, go to like Massachusetts. Hell, go to North Carolina. And you get like some of those kind of vibes or whatever.
North Carolina, East Coast.
I mean, because like
I don't.
well, I'm saying like for an East Coast feel, not for a New York feel. Asheville, I mean, it might as well be, like a small town outside of Boston. Like as far as like how it looks in the fall, that kind of aesthetic.
Like I know you can go to other places, and I mean, there've been times that they'll film in like, even like they look like you'll film like they're filming in Nashville, and they'll be in the Carolinas, or wanting to be like New Orleans, but it'll be like maybe outside of Mississippi. So
I think that you can find any spot that's going to look like something else, period, point blank, and you can make it something else. So if you need a California feel, like you said, you can go somewhere else and get that California feel or look.
that's going to start happening probably. Now, do y'all think it's a benefit that the film industry is starting to migrate outside of California?
Yeah, it's a benefit for a lot of people.
So,
That means I don't have to go to California to do a movie.
so now I'm glad you kind of brought it up. So when you how old were you when you first realized you wanted to work in film?
I don't know. I mean, I've always liked film, but like probably like pre-teens.
So at that point, did you think to yourself like, oh, God, I'm gonna have to move to California?
Oh yeah, because that's what they put out there. In order to make your dreams come true, come to California. That's where we shoot all the movies at. You know what I'm saying? So it was a whole thing. But that's what they put in our minds. That's what they put on TV.
All lies.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that, I could go to the next state or go maybe, 15 minutes down the street and find some alley that looks the same type of alley that looks like something in California. Just an alley. Period, point blank.
So how old were you at the point when you realized I don't have to do that at all?
Oh, that was like maybe after college.
That's about I was in college when I started to have this revelation myself. And what kind of brought it to me was when they started, when Hustle and Flow and the Johnny Cash movie came to Memphis.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to see big budget films are being filmed here. And then there was, at one point, had like TV pilots being filmed here. So that was the first time I started like looking at it. And I got to say, Tyler Perry really kind of, I think, opened eyes for everyone.
Right.
Like, I don't have to, like, whether you like his films or not, I can do something I like in Atlanta. I don't have to go, especially if you're someone of color. Go, I don't really have to go to that congested city. I can,
Right.
and you live in the South, so like I can just move less a few hours away. I can visit family,
Right. It's a lot of
career.
like it's a lot of things per se in the backyard that you can make. You know what I'm saying? Make it work and make it look real. So.
And then that was before you even thought about it from an indie perspective. Like if you're making indie films, you probably don't even want to start off in California. Now there may be a lot more resources, but you got to go out there and network. And I remember talking to somebody who was an actor that moved out there. And he said it takes 6 months to get used to living in California, in LA.
Yeah.
Then while you're getting used to living in LA, you're trying to network. So by the time you kind of maybe getting something started, it may be a few years.
That sounds about right.
And there was also, there was an actor who said that, I wish I could remember. He said, you don't go to LA, you would it's best to be invited to LA. And what they were saying, what he meant by that is like somebody go, hey, come out here and come out for this pilot.
Yeah.
Or come test out for this thing that's happening here. Because even if it doesn't work out, and usually an actor don't get picked not because they're not good. Well, sometimes it's because they're not good. Sometimes it's just you're not the right fit, or we promised this person this and all that. But you could make connection. It's a little easier to build for yourself.
It's all about who you know.
Especially there. And it's easier to get to know some people in Nashville. Or not saying it's something to move here.
You keep trying to invite people.
No.
No.
Maybe a benefit for the film industry leaving it. I was about to say Atlanta, but
That's a long sigh.
I mean, like, there's many benefits, like to many different levels. With democratization of technology, you're gonna get different stories. Like just like I heard Andre 3000 talk about music producers and why certain beats are the way they are from producers that are from New York. It's like that. You get a different aesthetic, you get a different take, you get a different like look. When people are like kind of out in the sticks, you know, very, very rural parts of the United States, you would get a different like look and feel of like even the films that they produce or the music that they do. You know, like the Ed Oliver dude, because it's been like the 1 year anniversary since he blew up. That North for Richmond guy. Yeah, like that kind of deal. You won't get that from a city. You won't ever get that from a city, and more than likely you won't get that from any part of California. Even though California is pretty diverse, like as far as like, you know, the different agriculture or scenery, or, you know, I'm thinking of not really thinking of the right word, but, you know, just the aesthetic it would be in whatever part of California you are, whether it be like, you know, arid desert looking place or, you know, with trees, but you wouldn't have like, you know, like the streams of West Virginia or, you know, stuff like that.
I was also thinking as kind of creates an avenue to where it like expands the talent pool. So I believe Quentin Tarantino, I know he's not from California, but he's kind of like one of my favorite directors because I can look at the film and tell, even whether I like it or not, I can tell it's his. He's just so unique in how he makes his films. But he may not have been the only person who thought of making films in a way that he has. Or somebody may have another unique way of producing films. He just can't move from Ohio. Can't move from Denver, Colorado. Another spot that could possibly have a film infrastructure growing there. I mean, everything else is happening there. And we don't want y'all coming to Nashville. So go to Denver. It's great there. I hear it's nice. You want those winter cold movies too? Denver is perfect. You should go to Denver.
It's a dry cold.
Oh,
It's a dry cold.
okay.
Yeah, it's not a wet cold. You'll like it. If you're bald, put a helmet on. Trust me, you don't want cold and bald. But I was just thinking like it creates avenue for us to see different perspectives, how to make film, different kinds of talent. Also, if I say Atlanta may be a lot more local based, so people, like I said, it may not be something that somewhere in like New York may not like or understand, but people in like Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, all of them gravitate to. So it may create more films that they're related to. And it may even, kind of like what 50 doing with Shreveport. He's going to build an economy there. So why have this one big economy we were growing up, the two main states were LA, New York. Why have this one huge economy in these two states when we can...
Depends on what you're talking about. Like, that's only in film. But like now you got, commingling of different like businesses. So like film and like certain texts, certain texts or music in this or tech in this. And then people can flip back and forth between like jobs and all that stuff. Tech in the movie industry wasn't a major thing back in the day because you didn't have as much players, but you got all this competition now, like from lighting to cameras to even set design stuff.
So you mean like from film to music video?
No, not necessarily. But like, cause you got to think that even the talent pool that you pull from probably a lot more diverse in an area like say here than it would be in LA, even though people will be coming from all over the place. But typically the same types of people will probably be making a trek to LA versus working a day job here. So you may have a medical biller that's also an actor on the side here. And then they're close enough to Atlanta where they can, book a day role or take vacation or something like that. So it's different. It's different, actors too now. There's different people that, that got to make a living too, like the set hands. It's all changing.
Yeah, as far as different actors, I was thinking of, and I've heard this more in Atlanta. It may happen in Los Angeles and New York. I'm not entirely sure. But I know like people who are retired, what they'll do is they'll just pick up like extra roles as an extra, and they'll be working on one set one day, another set the next day, and they'll be getting money ideally like weekly or every other week, and they just make a living hanging out on sets. Again, I don't know if that happens in California. I don't know if you can. I don't think it would happen there because I don't think you would pay an extra enough to make a suitable living in those spots.
If you're retired,
Yeah, but
you're getting retired.
to comfortably retire in California is a whole lot harder than here.
Yeah. Even like people in New York, you hear like people retire in New York, they go to Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like those spots are just not ideal like retirement spots. But in Georgia, and obviously you're probably not living in Atlanta, your house is probably outside of Georgia. Hopefully it's paid for. So your expenses is a lot lighter. So make a few, $700-800 a week just sitting on sets getting free food. You probably good. Gucci. Did I say the right term?
No. That's why I'm looking at you crazy. You're showing your age.
That was about 3 or 4 terms ago. Like right after Fleek. Right after Fleek.
I'm pretty sure I said it right.
Are you sure? You want to say it again?
I don't need when there's an opportunity to say it. I will. Right. Now, do you think it's something like this could, as far as competition?
There's no competition for me.
No, I'm talking about like it's like
because I do what I do.
Having in the industry, migrating to different states.
I mean, I don't know because I don't see nothing being competition though.
Well, I mean, like you're competing for attention, like dollars equal attention, and like every single thing is actually conditioning the general audience to be open to other things. So before, they probably wouldn't see as many films outside of the mainstream formats. But now, like, some of these indie films are actually pretty good. But the bulk of films that are made are actually bad. like relatively speaking,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, you're talking about films. You're not talking about
I'm-
the where they're filmed at.
I give you an example. I'm meaning like the industry itself. So let's say, like you saw what happened with film industry in Atlanta in the last 10 to 15 years. So let's say 50, he doesn't do exactly how well it is in Atlanta, but let's just say a B plus version where he's built the economy, films are being produced there. Many like indie film companies are being built there. It almost like changes the city.
Yeah, it draws more people to the city, and that's more money.
So say it happened there. Think of somewhere like, I don't know, that stuff being filmed in Cleveland. That's like a Montana. Shouldn't be like
I mean, there's stuff filmed in Montana all the time.
so not much. Like that.
I mean, but you wouldn't get a film industry there because, like, I mean, it's just like it's hard to live in some places, like for certain parts of the year. It's just hard. Montana, I mean, it's just like it doesn't have the same like infrastructure.
So you think even, I hate to be throwing Montana under the bus like this, but even if they like created tax incentives,
I mean, I mean, what are you going to get? Like, it's the Great West, so to speak, right? You're only going to get those type of movies. I mean, you only get those type of movies like filmed there because like any other place where the location doesn't really matter like that, you're not going to go to that place because like it's going to cost you money to travel. Like it's going to cost you money to like be in that city. And then you gotta, you're gonna have to go to.
but it would be cheaper.
Yeah, but it's gonna be desolate areas though. So you willing to get that back in gas? If there's like no incentives, because you got to drive everywhere, and like anybody that's lived in Texas or whatever, and you driving major city to major city or truck drivers, like I mean that's a cost you would have to account for. You're gonna be willing to move all those people, however far you need to move them to get to the right area to shoot.
Net, you bring up like truck drivers, and I was thinking one way, business wise, they could benefit from something like that. Like obviously, truck driving companies that are moving equipment from state to state or whatever. Also, I could see maybe they'll do something like a bus driving company. They make a deal for actors to like we carry you from here to here for this price, and it could almost be like an economy boost maybe for them.
I mean, but you would have to do that anyway. And then would that bus driving company be a economic boom in that area that you're driving to, or the area they're going back to? More than likely, it's going to be wherever they live to go to and fro. Because you can always charter a bus. It happens all the time. Hell, like family reunions do it. Like we did it one year to go to Carowinds, that theme park between North and South Carolina.
I think also Ubering in these certain, because I don't know what
That would be an expensive Uber though.
Well, I'm sorry, not state to state. That would
No, I'm
mean,
talking about.
let's say you're just in the shoot, you're in the city to shoot for like 3 days or something.
Oh,
Yeah, but how many
No.
Uber? How many Uber drivers you got in Montana though? No, I mean seriously, because it's not as viable there as it is in like more compact areas. Where you're gonna have more people to choose from to do all these other additional jobs as well, and not to mention like unless you're like telling a specific cowboy story or a story that's specific to Montana, I don't see a need to like specifically go there.
So somewhere like Montana, you don't think you can tell a diverse array of stories.
No, you could, but it's like okay, one is not just telling the story, but I mean it's also like cost prohibitive things, cost preventive things, cost prohibitive things, because you got to figure that out. Because most people, if they could tell like the story they want to tell, with cost not being an option, they would go shoot for the moon. Well, we know that's not the case. And in fact, like it's the limits that have like produced a lot of the greatest moments in film history.
Yeah. And
you have to film within your constraints.
Yeah.
So if all you got is $5,000, I'm pretty sure you're not going to spend it going to Montana to film.
No,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is one scene probably. Maybe if it's calls for in the script, there's one scene that okay, we need this type of setup. So you might spend a weekend in Montana to film one scene.
Not for no $5,000. You're gonna blow the whole scene. You're gonna blow the whole thing on that scene. You're gonna have to film with a DSLR.
Yeah, that's yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying, like, you know, whatever the scene requires is what the scene requires. But I wouldn't advise anybody to blow their whole budget on just the one scene.
No, I'm not talking about blowing the whole budget.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if you got a $5,000 movie, you know, you'd be like, hey, maybe we're just doing this living room. I'm just saying.
You probably are doing it in your living room.
I'm just saying.
You got one nice house, and it's gonna be a real nice living room. But it's gonna be in that living room.
Hey, we're gonna do the stage play. We don't have a stage, so we're gonna play right here.
We're gonna be on the sidewalk. But now it's painted picture. So let's say we got Atlanta. I say Shreveport works out. Other state or cities like Nashville and Colorado. I mean, look. So I'm gonna tell you why I keep putting it, because it's already happening.
I know it is, but I'm just saying maybe we can drop the population and just cut it a little drop.
No. From what I'm hearing,
I know it's already here, but I'm just saying you keep putting it in rotation.
But
maybe if you don't say it, maybe I can still, you know, picture 5 years ago being a good time for me.
5 years, girl, we way past. But like, let's just say 5 other cities starts building let's just say competitive film industry in their cities. Obviously, that's going to be taking down money from California.
But California's already getting there. I mean, it's unless you go into a major studio in California that you really want to use because it's a major studio, a lot of people ain't going there. And they're not really filming there.
So you think California would be fine if, I'd say I just use 6. There's 6 places where it's like competitive to Atlanta. Major movie studio.
The thing is, I don't think I need to go to California unless I'm invited. But for me to go to California and be like, yeah, I'm finna go to California and make my dreams come true, that's out the window for me. So,
and I think like maybe people in California, like film execs and stuff like that, may fear more people having your frame of thinking.
Well, it doesn't matter. The film exec has to think about cost and overruns and all that other stuff. That's why that's why the pilots are filmed. The majority of the pilots are filmed in Georgia, because the cost it's more cost inhibitive,
and it's getting to the point where, and especially with money they're getting back from it, because you're not like, I think we talked about this a while ago, like with films. If the film didn't do well on screen, they can make their money back, DVDs, VHSs. But with streaming and them trying to figure that out, and it looks like, honestly, all of televised content is heading to streaming as compared to network. Like the entire, as far as like how to make money and the funding of it is being configured like in front of our eyes right now.
Yeah, but nobody truly knows. I mean, there's a few people that got to figure it out for their own personal audience. But I mean, it's always been like that, though. If you build an audience, they won't come. But you know,
got like a straight to audience type of setup.
Yeah, even if you don't have that, if you have like a four walling thing and you have a name or whatever, guess what? The audience is gonna, you know, give you this stuff. Like old boy in Chicago, Mark, I can't remember his name, black dude. He's got like every film he's done has made profit. And he doesn't have like this crazy, like, you know, abundant deal, but he's building his audience. Almost like how Tyler Perry did with the plays back in the day. I can't remember his name. He does the film threat interviews like all the time. He's out of Chicago. Can't remember the dude's name. Mark something though. I've actually exchanged emails with him. Cool dude.
Face is better than names. Like you see the face, that's what it is. On those types of things. But it's like you're ready to wrap things up here. I'm pretty sure your final thought is don't come to Nashville.
Yeah, we're full. We're full over here. I'm trying to figure out a way to get out.
Atlanta say they full, Nashville full. Everybody seems to be full lately. Carson, final thoughts.
A meal would make me full.
Should not have asked you that. So, I want to say this is I meant nothing to nothing, but okay. So,
What is going on? What are we doing? What is going on?
and now I'm hungry. I'm hungry for change, and that change will be in the film industry. So,
Oh, okay. Martin Luther King Jr.
yes.
Nah, like he's like that that dude from Tennessee with the afro.
I know you.
Oh, no. Am I Justin?
Yeah.
So, that's cool. But
Yeah.
anyways,
He is from Memphis, ain't he?
yes, he is. So,
And little boys. What sound?
we definitely wrapping this up. What the fuck are you talking?
That's how he talk. That's how that dude talk.
Yeah.
That's how he talk.
I don't,
He's like a bootleg MLK.
Yeah.
I'm like this dude is like how old is he?
I don't know.
He's under 40.
under
Of
40.
course he's on the
He's
floor.
under 40. I'm like, why are you talking like a Southern Baptist preacher?
Well, I mean, he comes from the church. But
Yeah, but I don't talk like that. When's the last time you heard somebody just on the street being like, "My brother, can I get $5?
That's the way he
I
talks.
need $5 from you, my brother.
That's the way he talks.
We
I'm
shall
just saying.
overcome with this $5 that you give me."
He trying to make it to be the president.
I
yeah,
I
just
don't think he talk like that, like on the regular. That dude, he probably put a cigarette in, like a cool.
I mean, if he was born and raised in Memphis, I'm pretty sure he doesn't talk like
Yeah, he don't talk like that.
somewhat like I know someone who knows.
He don't talk like that though. Well, all the extra projection.
Yeah.
You got to be
29.
coached to do
Okay.
that. You got to be coached
Okay.
to do that.
He's 29. That's what I thought.
Yeah, man. Like he ain't talking like that. Not at 29.
We're done.
That ain't Gucci. That ain't Gucci. That ain't Fleek.
We're done. Thank you all for
that.
listening.
What year are we in? Y'all
This-
need to stop using all these terms.
Hey, nah, I brought it up because he brought it up.
A long time ago. I'm trying to end this.
Call back.
I'm Kevin Mumphrey with my colleagues, Carson Hyde-Fark
Yeah.
and Victoria V.A. Jones. We got to go.